2019 to order at 7:05. Roll call, please.
Maurice LaRosa.
Here?
Andrew Urbanowitz.
Here.
Mary Ann Turner. Here. Charlie Mastroberti.
Here.
Kelly Davis.
Here.
Robert Kwasnicki.
Here.
Catherine Plopper.
Here.
Rich Stroney.
Here. Fire evacuation, 2 means of egress from the council chambers. First one is to my left, your right, to the double doors. First door down the stairs and straight out to the parking lot. Or a quicker way would be directly behind you through the double doors and out into the parking lot. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Make sure you tell people they're not voting tonight.
All right. Do we have a town attorney's report for anything?
No, we do not have one.
Okay. Number 6, old business. We're going to table all this. We're still waiting on some information. So we'll move to new business. And can we have the first legal notice, please?
Hang on a sec. Here we go.
Not a problem. Take your time.
The Enfield Zoning Board of Appeals will hold a public hearing on Monday, October 28, 2019 at 7 p.m. in the council chambers, Town Hall, 820 Enfield Street, Enfield, Connecticut, concerning the following: ZBA 2019-09-16, 90 Alden Avenue, multiple variances application to section 6.1.1 footnote 5, lot and bulk requirements for the Thompsonville District 5, TD's 5, zone property to allow for a common lot line party wall from the side yard to the rear yard of the property. Table 6.1, lot and bulk requirements to vary the minimum rear yard requirement of 20 feet to 0 feet, to allow for a common lot line party wall, all to allow for a lot split. Bell Site Development LLC, William Belloc, owner applicant, map 28, lot 17, Thompsonville District 5, TD 5 zone. Do you want me to read the second one, or wait?
No, go ahead. We can wait. Now, will the applicant come forward, please? Before we get going, I want to read a little statement. A variance can be granted where such a grant will not affect the overall purpose of the zoning ordinance, and where strict interpretation of the ordinance will result in a hardship. A hardship exists where the zoning ordinance uniquely affects a parcel of land differently from other properties. And whereas the property or reasonable use of the land would be impossible without the variance. Self-imposed or financial hardships cannot be by law considered a reason for granting the variance. And then, seeing as we have all of our members here tonight, there will be no need for the alternates to vote. If you'd like to move forward with your presentation.
My name is Bill Belloc, and I represent the applicant, Bell Site Development LLC. As a matter of record, this is the second time that the applicant and the property has been in front of the ZBA. The first was in 2015. As you know, that the property was a former St. Adalbert's parochial school. The school itself, which was the classrooms, the cafeteria, the lunchroom, was converted into 21 bedroom units. The gymnasium, as part of the renovation, was not converted into units. It still exists as the gymnasium. As part of the construction, there was a 50-foot common, or now it's called a common party wall, a masonry wall separating the gymnasium from the balance of the school. By building code purposes, they're considered two separate structures. The building, as you have pictures, town staff handed you pictures, the building continues to go along the parking lot with the masonry wall. There are some openings for doors, but it's the only wall between the two buildings does have a masonry wall. The building, the masonry wall has no penetrations, which is one of the requirements in the regulations for a party wall, and that's part of the construction at the time that we did the renovation. The property, as you noted, is in the Thompsonville District 5, number 5 TD5 district. In the district lot and bulk requirements table, the property would require a rear yard of either 10 feet or 20 feet and a side yard of 5 feet. However, in the notes to the table, section 6.1.1, paragraph 5 state that in side yards, buildings may be built to the common lot line, provided the party of other walls except are of masonry construction with no openings, which is what we have here. We've talked to the town, part of the being here is we've talked to the town about possibly conveying the gymnasium to the town as part of the Higgins Park renovation. I'm sure you're familiar with it. And what would happen that if in fact we did convey the gymnasium and a portion of land to the town, no matter how you look at it, the existing lot that would be created with the school and the apartments, it would be a rear yard, not a side yard. So the regulation allows for a common party wall with zero penetrations on a side yard, but not on a rear yard. On the town portion of it, that wouldn't be a problem because I think they would have frontage on Enfield Street, so they would have a side yard. It's just that my property, the building would be in the rear yard. That's one of the two issues. It sounds strange, but that's really what it comes down to. The second one is if you once again, if you look at the pictures, and if you were contemplating the lot line being the building itself with the party wall and then extending on both to the east and to the west, well, the town would not have the required side yard setback to the lot that would be created with the school. And once again, it's a party wall, it's a side yard, it'd be like a zero lot line again, but there wouldn't be a contiguous structure. It would be a masonry structure, but it wouldn't be contiguous to the parking lot. So since it's an existing building, there's really nothing I can do as far as moving it to make it accommodating. I do feel that the regulation contemplated this kind of a situation, though they wouldn't have in the first place for a side yard. It just happens that in this existing structure, it would be a rear yard rather than a side yard, and the town would be on a zero lot line from the other direction. And that's basically it. It's more of the regulations there, we just don't conform the way we're contemplating the possible split of the property.
Existing gym. You didn't bring anything to, I do have this map, but it would be a lot easier if you could explain it to me. You're not,
Okay.
are you giving just the gymnasium and some partials, not the whole
Right,
rectangle?
No, we're just taking, the idea behind it is, the gymnasium used to be connected to the school by way of a hallway and a stairwell. That is 50 feet wide. The actual connection to the gym is 50 feet wide. That's the party wall. The gym itself extends further beyond that, the school in both directions, approximately 30 feet on one heading to the east and approximately 80 feet heading to the west, okay, which would be, and understand the orientation now is that we're to the north of the gym, the school, and the town Higgins Park and everything else is to the south. So basically, the blank wall of the I can if I could approach the bench, I mean it's really it's behind.
You have a mic there if you want to grab the mic and come up and show people what
Okay,
you're.
this is a. Okay.
Yeah, we're looking at that same thing that you have in your hand.
Yeah. If you, the best way to look at it is actually with the triangle up on top, okay? And if
Right.
you can figure the triangle up on top is Town Hall, okay?
Yep.
So if you're looking from behind the structure, if you're looking across the pine trees, the softball field, that's the south side of the gym. That's not the side of the gym we're talking about. We're on the other side of the gym, which would be the north side of the gym. And all we did is, and this is, as part of the exhibit for the possible sell, is just take a straight line from the east property line all the way lining up with the masonry wall, so we have our common wall, all the way across to the other, to the west side. It's just a straight line. Everything to the rear would be conveyed to the town. That's the game plan.
All of this.
Right, this
That's
whole
what I thought.
triangle.
That's what I thought. Yep. What's this red mark? What is this red mark?
The red mark is based on the building code, the plus or minus 0 feet based on the fire separation requirements for the exterior openings. So based on the building code regulation, we may need to move the proposed property line from the 0 foot requested plus or minus 11 feet.
Because of the doors that are there.
The exterior, and the windows.
Yes. So the doors could be, there's no design yet, so the doors could end up going away, but then it could be replaced with an exit door. So either way, it's fine. I had, was it last year? I had an additional 9, I will lose a space. I picked up an additional 9 spaces to the front of the building, I think it was last year. And so it's a wash, I have plenty of parking, that's not the issue. It's just a matter of, for the building code, I have to be that far away for you can't have a car that close.
So Raquel, what are we going for? The straight black line or the indent with the red?
The proposed red one.
Proposed red.
Either one.
So it'll go straight and then come out, and come back and
Yeah,
go straight again?
If I may, Mr. Chair, if the actual request is for the 0, if for some reason we, as the town, and develop Higgins Park and close off that wall, there's no need for the line to move. If we use the openings, then we will need to move it into Mr. Bellick's property. So the actual request really is still for 0, and if for some reason we go less than 0 or more than 0, we're becoming more compliant. So we don't know what it's going to be, because we don't really know what the master plan is going to call for. We may decide to move all of the openings towards the town hall to keep
Gotcha.
traffic away from the apartments.
Gotcha. So we're going for the 0.
Realistically, that would be the best thing. And if we go 10 feet away, then you should be happier.
Right.
We're still in compliance either way, so
Right.
that way it doesn't,
Okay. Any questions?
I think mine all got answered in the additional staff notes. Did we get the proofs of mailing to abutters?
I did not receive that.
I dropped it off at your office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a long
I
time ago.
wasn't.
I
me check
I dropped
the
it off
folder.
a couple weeks ago.
Hold on, let me
Yeah.
see it.
Any questions on this side?
Yes, I do have them here, Marianne.
Thank you.
You're good.
You know,
Are we concerned who's responsible for that 50-foot section party wall? Or does it damages issues with the wall? Is that not something we worry about for this, or is that more of a?
it's a-
I don't believe we
I
worry
don't,
about
yeah,
it.
that's
That
got
would
up
be a
to us. I would
P&Z
think that's
thing.
something P and Z and
Okay.
them and the
building.
town would have to work out.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
It's a good question, though. It's a good question. All right, if you want to have a seat.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor or against the application? Anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor or against the application? Last time, anybody in the audience wishing to speak in favor or against the application? Sensing none, do I have a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Made by Mary Ann, seconded by Andrew. The hearing is closed. Comments, questions, concerns?
Okay, so mine is that it actually got talked about in the documents, that this is a very peculiar structure, and it's an opportunity, and it's conducive to the neighborhood. So I'm very much in favor of this, and that it's a very minimal adjustment, and it's in harmony with the general purpose. So you've kind of hit all of my buzzes, so I'm in favor of this project moving forward.
Anyone else?
I have a kind of a concern or something that we might want to think about in terms of just the condition maybe that we put on it, is that I just wouldn't want to see this becoming a separate lot that's landlocked. And that's all I have
Yeah.
to say looking at it. I don't want to see that be the outcome of this, that it's not conveyed to the town and then it ends up being a separate lot that has no access.
Yeah, that would pose a problem, wouldn't it?
So how does that get handled?
I was going to propose we could condition the variance upon the subdivision of the land, because I'm assuming the town would merge that in with other property of the town, and the other lot would still be freestanding and have its frontage.
So conditioning it to the conveying of that parcel to the town?
Yeah, I think that would.
Okay. I could see the concern with that.
Me too.
We have other properties that have issues.
Right. I just don't want to start a issue where we can avoid it.
Anybody else over there? No? Yeah, I mean, if it's conveyed to the town and that moves forward with plans for the Higgins Park stuff, right? Now, is there already something in the works with the town getting conveyed this property, or should we condition it so that our concerns are met?
So, Mr. Chair and the board, the Higgins Park is, a big dream of the town. We could do it with or without this property, but we would really like to preserve this gym. And we are in the process of working out an agreement with Mr. Belloc. We may be leasing the property for some time, or we may purchase it outright. That is still to be determined.
Okay,
So-
so
But it could never become a separate lot because it's completely non-compliant. So,
Well, I don't
you
ever
can't
s-
create a lot by.
I don't ever say never, because
Yeah,
we've seen
well, I know,
some
yeah.
things.
Good point.
We
Very
don't
good
know what
point.
10, 15 years
But I-
down the line.
I think the
holds
intent of
for
the
us.
town is to utilize this property as to the best we can.
Again, I think it's taking part of a building that we already started using that was useless to us before, and now we've put apartments in it, makes it better for the area, and now just adding another piece to make it worthwhile having in that area. Just benefits everybody. And it doesn't, like Mary Ann said, it doesn't go against the harmony of the area.
Andrew, could you just give me how the condition would be worded?
It would be conditioned upon a sale or lease to the town, I guess.
I
if we're
put the
gonna-
town will merge the property into its own.
Yeah, I think that's the only way I could get into this, because it's I could see an argument that it's separated if we don't.
I wouldn't go with a lease,
Right. I would say it should be,
with a purchase or conveyance.
yeah,
of the
subsequent
town.
conveyance to the town.
Well,
It's
we don't
conditioned
know.
conditioned upon a conveyance to the town of Enfield, and then that's sufficiently general.
How the town proceeds forward, either
It's up
with
to them.
leasing it or buying it, it's theirs. Okay, so we can't completely tie them.
If they lease it, it's not theirs.
But it's like those option to buys, it sounds like to me.
So, we may lease this, and if it was leased, there's absolutely no reason for the variance to go through or even be filed. And it probably won't be filed until such time as we actually need it for the rest of the
conveyance.
development. So,
It's only
if
there
we're
for
going to
the
lease it,
purchase.
maybe for some reason we decide to lease it for the next 20 years, and Mr. Belloc is all happy about that.
Right.
Then there would be no purpose of.
However, maybe we're just going to lease it while we renovate it. So, for all intents and purposes, it's either going to stay with the property as is, or it's going to go to the town. And the variance doesn't need to be filed necessarily until we actually need it to be filed.
Right.
So,
So
as
that's-
it goes with the land, as
that's-
you all know.
Right, so that's basically what we're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if there's really a need for the condition, is what I'm saying, but
I think so.
Dot our i's and cross the t's.
If the board feels better with it, we'll give it to them. We know later on, if it comes down to it, we can say, well, we meant this, but if we didn't put it in writing, it doesn't exist.
So, let's see here. So are we doing both of these together, or are we gonna do them separate? Because we have two variances.
You can read them both, we'll do them both together. We still have to sign both sheets, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so just read them off together and we'll vote on it as one, and then
Okay.
we'll just sign them.
One other question. With the red line that we have, given that that's where the doors are now, do we have to worry about that, or is that something that will come into play when we
That's gonna be
decide
up
how
to
to
the
use the?
building, that's up to the building department and whoever's renovating that
Okay.
property at the time.
Right.
Okay.
If they use the red line, it's more generous than the variance that they have anyway, so it's
If
more
they-
conforming, so.
If they
Right.
use the red line, they're more in conformance with
Understood.
the regulation.
Okay.
yeah.
So the motion would be for the 0 versus the 0 to 11,
Yeah.
because the
This leaves it
0 is the
open.
max.
0 is the max, right?
Right, so we're only gonna use one of these. So the one with the 0. is
0 to
the one.
11. Okay. We ready?
Yep. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion. Motion to approve ZBA 2019-09-1690 Alden Avenue, multiple variance application to Table 6.1 lot bulk requirements to vary the minimum rear yard requirement of 20 feet to 0 to 11 feet plus or minus, to allow for a party wall property line, all to allow for a lot split, Bell Site Development LLC, care of William Belloc, owner app, map 28, lot 17, Thompsonville, District 5, TD5 zone in accordance with the reference plans.
Do I have a second? I'll second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Supposed to raise their
Raise
hands.
your right hand. All opposed? Passes unanimous.
And I needed to get the condition in, though.
Yeah, should we vote the condition separate?
Or we-
Raquel? Do you want us to vote the condition in separate?
Yeah, you can do that.
So jump in here if I don't have the words right.
Sure.
We're going to put in one condition that the town will merge the property into its own and convey it, so when the town comes together with the properties, that's how you want, we'll merge the property into its own conveyance for the conveyance? Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, we want the variance to only be active upon a subsequent conveyance of the rear portion to the town.
Okay, the variance will only be activated,
Upon the conveyance of the
Thank
property
you.
to the town.
okay.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
All in favor signify by raising your right hand. Opposed? Abstentions? So you're all set with that? The paperwork, everything that you need will be sent to you, or you'll be in contact with the office. Good luck. Our second application tonight, ZBA 2019-09-0 or -23, 7 St. Thomas Street, will not be heard tonight. The applicant has asked for more time, so that will be moved to our next regular meeting or special meeting, which will be determined a little bit later on as we adopt our new schedule.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I would require a motion to accept the continuance from the applicant.
We need a motion to accept his continuance.
Yes.
Do I have a motion to accept his continuance?
So moved.
Mary Ann?
Second.
Seconded by Andrew. All in favor signify by raising the right hand. Opposed? Abstentions? So once we get to the scheduling part of it, I'll inject that into the new
Am I
schedule.
supposed to sign this?
No.
Correspondent staff reports.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, it seems like you skipped over the approval of minutes.
Did I? I did, sorry. Did everybody have a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Mary Ann, second.
Second.
Andrew, any conversation, discussion?
Hang on, I did have something. I don't think the words on page 1, 6th paragraph, it says, Chairman LaRosa clarified that if it is a facility that is not being transferred of ownership or going relative to relative, it should be handled as a new operation. He stated that if a new store comes in where an old one was located, there should be a site plan review. I think you said there is, isn't it supposed to be is a site plan review? I'm not, he may have said should, but I believe that's, you already do site plan reviews for these things, don't you?
Well, if it's, I'm just reading the sentence, I'm sorry. So it says if a new store comes where an old one was located, there should be a site plan review. Basically, if there is already an existing automotive location approval, they would just have to get your approval. They don't need to go back to planning and zoning because it's already been established that that use was permissible. It's only when it's a brand new one that it goes to planning and zoning.
This is never gonna die.
If it's any consolation, the Connecticut chapter of APA is still trying to get it changed so it always goes to planning and zoning.
I hope they
But
do.
you're going to have to talk to your representatives to try to help that move along.
Let's see. And could you tell me, remind me, because I don't know why, but on page 6, I said, Commissioner Turner requested a copy of the minutes. What minutes were I asking you for? And that you agreed to give them to me?
You didn't write them in your notebook?
The minutes, hold on, let me see.
I don't know if you're,
Oh, you wanted the minutes from the,
turn your doodad on.
sorry. You wanted the minutes from the meeting when they talked about the land, the town talked about the land use. Was it the historical, the agricultural? I can't remember what committee it was, but there was a woman in the audience who spoke about their intent was for someone to have access to this property. And she said it should be in their minutes, and I think those are the minutes you were looking for. But I can't remember what committee it was.
Might have been planning and zoning's
Remember
minutes.
No, I don't think it was. There was a woman from another committee.
Yeah, the only other person that was here was Lori, and she used to be on planning and zoning.
Okay,
So I don't remember.
Okay.
And I also noticed that we didn't put the, and again, I do minutes in my other life, Raquel, so we do want to get on the agenda tonight to talk about the mitigation that's supposed to be going on over at Smith Dairy Bar. We were looking for an update on that, and that's under old business on page 9. I don't know if we want to bother putting it on the agenda tonight, because you may not have an answer. But we're supposed to hear from them at least once a year to tell us how things are going.
Yes, I do recall that we did pull the files for that. We're just getting more information because they haven't reached out to us. You guys did make a motion where in the variance it said it shall include the minutes and everything. And the applicant at the time said it wasn't a normal practice from them to report back to the ZBA, but the ZBA at that time was insistent on receiving information. So I'm still doing a little bit more research on that. But we don't have an update regarding that.
Well,
They
they've
don't-
come before.
Pardon?
I said they've come before.
They have come back before.
Well, that's what I just read in the minutes. I wasn't here in 2013, so
Right.
I was just trying to follow to see what was going on, and that's what they said. So I was just trying to get more clarification from them, but they have not provided updates regarding their mitigation.
So how do we know it's working?
Oh, according to the deed that I was reading, it says that the grantor could ask the grantee to provide them with updates within 30 days. But again, I don't have that information in front of me right now to properly explain it, but I do remember reading that information.
So let's approve the minutes before we keep that dialogue going,
Sure.
okay? So I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Opposed? Abstentions?
Oh, it's Mary.
CC, yeah.
I don't know. Mr. Chair, who seconded the motion? I'm sorry.
Andrew.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, when approving minutes, do we all vote that were present during that, or is that just the non-alternates?
Basically, the 5 regular members
Okay,
do all the voting unless you're
gotcha.
seating that night. But if you were there and there's a problem with the minutes, you certainly can participate in the discussion and things like that if there's a correction that needs to be made.
Understood. Thank you.
All right, now we're over to the staff. Sorry, I wasn't trying to rush you along before.
No worries. Regarding the staff report, you received the latest zoning map for the Thompsonville district, as well as the regulations. We're currently working on integrating all the language of this newly adopted zoning regulations into the regular regulations, only because we're finding some conflicting stuff, so we don't have the regulations all
No, we-
squared away yet. But once we do have a finalized copy, planning and zoning will be voting on it and adopting it, and then we will pass the information to you.
Okay. So when you get that, when they vote on that and they get all that, can we get a complete copy
That's what
instead of
the
inserting?
intention is to be, yes.
So that way there we clean up our books a little bit. All right. You'll find in your packet minute schedules, meeting schedules.
We will?
Should be a meeting schedule somewhere in your packet.
Oh, is it like on the desk? How did I not see this? Okay.
So we usually meet on the last Monday of the month. But as you can see, there's a couple of areas that we've looked at for change. One being in November. We can change it if you guys want to, or
Mr. Chair?
not
What
change.
year are we talking about?
Mr. Chair, you're a little ahead. The first one that you're looking at is the 2020-2021 land use meeting schedule. It looks like this,
Yeah.
where you will be voting. This goes down to the town clerk's office.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're not changing yet.
All right. So we're looking at next year's schedule first.
Are you asking us to pick dates in May and December?
Yes, pretty much. Whether you want to keep May or cancel it or move it up forward, and same thing with December, because it kind of falls around the holidays. Sometimes people aren't here, they're traveling. So rather than not have a meeting, we can move it up or we can cancel the meeting, whatever you prefer.
My suggestion is we move it up, and if you need it, you got it. So May 18th would be my suggestion, and December 14th would be my suggestion. Anybody thinking about it? You got some thoughts, Mr. Chairman?
I do. Wouldn't it, is that gonna give enough time between November and December of next year if you,
Yes. I have enough time to legally advertise between then.
You want to
Okay.
move it to the 21st?
well, no, but I'm thinking, shouldn't we move November forward as well?
If you prefer.
Because
you could do that.
having a meeting the week of Thanksgiving may be a little tough for some. So I would propose moving November to the 16th. The 23rd only, I mean, that's 3 days away from Thanksgiving. So. That's just my thought, though.
I don't have any issues at November. I don't actually have any issues with all of them, but
Anybody? I mean, I know sometimes I travel for Thanksgiving. I don't know if any of you travel for Thanksgiving. But when I do, I go for the whole week, so it's,
Are there typically a lot or any in that November, December?
it's hard to say. I mean, you could, honestly, we've sat here with one and we've sat here with five. It's, you just don't know what's going on.
1, 2, 3. 3 weeks enough time?
To keep it on the November 23rd?
No, if we moved it to the 16th.
Yeah, because for legal advertisement, it has to be within 15 to 10 days for the first one, and then 2 days before the next scheduled meeting.
Okay, but 15 to 10, and does that include weekends? They count those days? It's okay, 7, so 8, 9, 10. So that'll get you to the 10th. You'd have to have it out by the 1st. That gives you time? Okay.
I might suggest we take the 30th in November and then do the 21st in December, and then it
Yep.
gives applicants a little better shot at it,
That would make sense.
because then you don't run up to having a couple weeks between October and November.
Yeah, I like that idea. So push them
No,
down.
actually, that works.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
could do that.
Sorry.
So
November
push-
30th and December 21st?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then May 18th, going with that.
18th.
Anybody have any problems with that?
Just be aware that this room will probably not be available. It will probably be available on the 30th, but the 21st, if the town council's meeting, they'll be in here, this room.
Yeah, I think
May
they have 2 meetings
18th.
in December.
May 18th as well. That'll be a council night.
They would go into the Enfield room, if anything.
Yeah, as long as we can book the Enfield room.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion and a second and all that jazz?
Yep.
I make a motion to move the May meeting to the 18th, the November meeting to the 30th, and the December meeting to the 21st of 2020.
And accept the rest as labeled, right?
There's nothing else here.
Well, yeah, the rest of the chart.
Oh, I thought we were just worrying about, okay.
We'll get the whole thing.
Okay. How about this? I make a motion that we accept the calendar with these changes. Is that better? May 18th, November 30th, and December 21st will change. Everything else will stay the same.
Made by Mary Ann. Do I have a second?
Second.
Was that Charlie? Yeah. Seconded by Charlie. Any other discussion? All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed? Abstentions? We're good.
Next.
Yes, this is for this year. There's also town council being swearing in on this day.
So you want to move to November.
So now this is where we move to these 2 pages, right?
For this year.
For this year.
For this year, yes.
So it was proposed that we move our November meeting to a special meeting on the 18th. And our December meeting to a special meeting on the 15th.
16th. 16th. Unless you want to meet on Sunday.
Oh, yeah. I'm reading the calendar wrong. The 16th and the 18th, that's what it was. And again, it was asked if we could move them because of the holiday there and,
Holiday there.
right. Well, the 30th wraps around, Christmas is just over, New Year's is the next day. And for November, it was the holiday weekend for Thanksgiving.
I make a motion to move the November meeting to November 18th and the December meeting to December 16th of 2019. And they will be special meetings, or they'll be special meetings?
Yeah, they have to be special because we already set our calendar.
Give me a second.
Do I have a second?
I second.
Made by Mary Ann, seconded by Charlie. All in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed? Abstentions? Before we close that off, ZBA 2019-09-23, 9 St. Thomas Street, will be moved to November 18th ZBA special meeting.
So we should keep our paperwork.
Yeah, and I have a paper that you have to do for
Darn.
that.
I did once, didn't I do once?
Did you know that you need to put?
That's no good. It'll
This
have to
thing?
be in-
No, you'll fill this out, right?
That doesn't need to be filled out. That was just for you to realize that.
Okay. All right. Sounds good to me.
There's one more thing for other business. Lori just going to go over it real quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is actually an economic development workshop. We were going to have it in October, but there were a lot of conflicts from the town and the Cirque side. But this is basically trying to show how all the different boards, commissions, staff, and everybody within the town all play a role in economic development. And it's going to be held on November 21st here from 7 to 9 p.m. We'd really like as many board and commission members to come, because I think you really kind of realize how, you can see how we all play into the economic development game. So there is a survey that you could take. You should have received this via email. Yeah. So, if you could take that survey, it just helps them plan their program for the night, so it's geared more towards Enfield and not just generic. So, and please do sign up, because we have to show that we have at least, I think, 20 people going.
I already signed up. Didn't you guys already sign up?
Haven't, but I will be attending.
Man, they show up
if-
in my inbox, they're out of my inbox.
Yeah, if,
Just for Enfield?
this is just for Enfield. And so if you haven't signed up and you plan on attending, do please sign up, because we need to have an attendance. So otherwise, they won't come.
All right.
So, thank you.
So, do we need to send a note back out to people to go do this? Please tell me I don't need that job.
Yeah, I think we're going to redo the emails just to remind people.
Yeah, that would be helpful. I can't remember. I took the survey. I don't remember if I signed up or not. So, yeah.
You sign up with us, either myself or Christy
Oh.
in community development.
I don't
so-
recall. Just don't tell Mary Ann I don't know.
I won't say anything.
Thanks.
Anybody have anything else? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We're adjourned.
So we should hang on to our bylaws and the last packet and this Thompsonville district thing.
Right. Once they finish all of it, they'll give us a complete new set of. But for now, I hang on to it.
What date is that?